Tahiti is the last event in the 2022 season and determines the final 5. Who's favored at the heaving left? Well, we're going to talk about that and more. Hey everyone, I'm Old Surf Dad, and in this Outerknown Tahiti Pro Preview, we're going to check out the surf forecast for Teahupoo. Then we're going to get into some key stats in the Old Surf database. And finally, I'm going to make my men's and women's fantasy picks. But first, let's check in with our Fantasy Surf League for a special announcement. As I mentioned in my last preview video, our Fantasy League is now closed to new teams, but we will be back next year, so join us in 2023. For those of you already in, I have some special announcements I think you're going to like. Of course, we know that the overall winner of the league gets the coveted Hall of Fame trophy, but I'm also throwing in a WSL jersey of your favorite surfer or a Stab Premium membership for the overall winner. The rest of the top 5 will get a ticket to play in the Survival League next season, which we'll talk about more later in the video. If you're in the top 25 and think you may qualify, please register on the website at oldsurfdad.com so I can contact you if you win. Now wait, we're always talking about the top 5. How about that person in our league in last place that's been grinding it out week after week? Well, today I'd like to announce the Jadson Andre Award for the person who finishes last in our league, but very important here, has participated in all events. If you missed any of the events or didn't fill out your picks completely, then you don't qualify. Last place gets a Jadson Andre jersey, or any jersey you like, but I highly encourage you to get the Jadson jersey. Again, if you're in the top 25 of the league or the bottom 15 of the league, please register on the website so I have your email address to contact you if you win. Just go to the homepage at oldsurfdad.com and scroll down to find the registration. All right, let's move on and congratulate Kalia Kane for the J-Bay win. You've joined our list of event champions in the Hall of Fame at oldsurfdad.com. Gnarly Pasty was runner-up at number 2. That Surf Sure Is Up comes in at number 3. TJ Art in the 4th position, and Gatorade Me Pora is back in the top 5 at number 5. Congratulations to all of you. Now, let's look at the overall rankings following the J-Bay event. TJ Art is our new overall event leader and is ranked 30th in the world. Dave Bob is right behind him in 2nd place. Just the Tip still in the race at number 3, and Sumalinen also in the mix, ranked number 4. And finally, Gravel Pit makes the top 5 in the 5th position. Less than 100 points separates the top 5. The race is heating up, and this is going to get good. Okay, moving on to the surf forecast for Tahiti. Let's get into it. The waiting period for the Outerknown Tahiti Pro is from August 11th to August 21st, a full 10 days, which is a good idea for an event at Teahupoo. As of the taping of this video on Friday, August 5th, there's some head-high waves out there on the reef, but they are hard to see through the rain squalls and the nuking trades. For those CT surfers that got in for an early warm-up, the surf will pick up over the weekend, but the heavy trades will continue and make for difficult conditions, although Sunday may see some relief. Looking into the start of the waiting period, you can see the first several days look to be small, with Tuesday, August 16th, showing the first signs of a new south-southwest swell and more modest reinforcements behind that. There's nothing big showing yet, but we are a week out and way ahead in the forecast. A lot can happen in a week. I'll be doing an update to this forecast either in a video or live stream, so make sure you're subscribed to stay up to date. To learn more about what makes Teahupoo break, I highly recommend checking out the 1-minute Surfline Mechanics of Teahupoo video, and there's a link to that in the description below. All right, let's get into the Old Surf database to help us make our picks. This is the last event to make the top 5, and I thought we should start by looking at which CT surfers have the motivation to make the finals. So I decided to make my first spreadsheet. It's primitive, but it works to run simulations and create different scenarios. If you want to check it out and enter some of your own numbers, you can find a link to it in the description below. Here's my main men's takeaways. Jack Robinson has an opportunity to be in first place with the yellow jersey for the world title run if Filipe finishes with an equal 9th, which means losing in the round of 16, and Rabo wins a Tahiti event. There's also the slim chance that Filipe doesn't show up in Tahiti or goes out in the elimination round. If that happens and Jack gets into the finals, he's number 1. These scenarios aren't likely, but possible. Moving down to 3rd and 4th, both Ethan Ewing and Elo Ferreira control their own destiny. If they make it into the round of 16 and do not get eliminated, they're in. Then they just need to place above those behind them to maintain their positions. For Ethan, if Jack Robinson has some sort of meltdown and loses in the elimination round, and Ethan wins the event, he steals 2nd place, but mathematically he can't take the yellow jersey. Now let's talk about that last spot and who's in the hunt. If Kanoa finishes 1 place ahead of Griffin, he gets into the top 5 and Griff is out. The only other chance Kanoa has is if Elo goes down in the elimination round, and then Kanoa will be able to wiggle in with a finals appearance if Griffin is ahead. Both Griffin and Kanoa are dead even in my opinion. Remember, Kanoa was in the quarters at Pipe this year and lost the eventual winner Kelly Slater, while Griff went out in the round of 32. It really depends which Griffin shows up. He usually either gets into the semis or goes home early. Is Griff due after mediocre results in the last 2 events? We shall see. Now, if both Griffin and Kanoa go out in the elimination round and Callum Robson gets into the finals, he makes the top 5. Meanwhile, John is sailing to Tahiti, and I'm being told he will compete. Here's an update from his sailboat.
Here we are, day 8, 500 miles from our next destination. We've had a calm day, got to do some work on the boat, Gio went up the mast, checked the rig, everything looked good. We had some stormy kind of squalls the last couple of days, lots and lots of wind, lots of wave action, some scary moments, and now we've slowed the boat down and we are just kind of almost on an upwind direction. We are almost to the equator and that is exciting. We are in the middle of nowhere.
It would be legendary for him to jump off the catamaran, win the contest, and then sail back to Trestle to compete. However, the chances of that happening are slim. John, Miguel Pupo, and Connor Leary can squeak into the 5th spot if they win the event and both Griffin and Kanoa go out early. As for the rest of the tour, they're out and have nothing to lose. That's dangerous considering the talent lurking around, including Kelly, Barron, Kaio, and Nat Young. Now let's look at the women's. Carissa and Joanne DeFay are firmly in the number 1 and number 2 spots, barring a meltdown. Joanne could potentially take the yellow jersey if she won the event and Carissa lost in the elimination round, but I just don't see that happening. The more interesting and complicated scenarios are for the last 3 spots. Let's start with Tati. I think she's a favorite here as a goofy footer, and she's no stranger to big lefts. If she can get into the quarters, she'll mostly be safe, and a win in the quarters secures her spot at Trestles. She can also overtake 2nd place if Joanne goes out in the elimination round and Tati makes a finals appearance. The most likely storyline is Brisa, Steph, and Lakey battling for the remaining 2 spots. Brisa and Steph need to finish higher than the other for placing, while Lakey needs to finish above Brisa and have Steph go down in the quarters or sooner. I could see some head-to-head battles here to determine who makes the finals, and Eric Logan's vision of creating meaningful and exciting heats will be realized. The long shots are Tyler Wright, Gabriella Bryan, and Isabella Nichols, who would have to have a lot of things go their way and either win or, in Tyler's situation, get 2nd place. All of these surfers have the ability and will be helped by Tier C talent in the wildcards. Caroline Marks can play spoiler, and I can see Vahine Fiero pulling a Moana Jones and winning this whole thing straight up. All right, let's do a quick analysis of some past results to help us make our picks. I wanted to start with 2017 to mention that both Gabriel Medina and Chloe Andino are out. Jordy Smith is in there, and Julian Wilson ended up winning. In 2018, the waves sucked. No, not sucking off the reef, just sucked in general. There were heats where surfers were literally riding up onto the reef in 2-foot waves trying to make scores. I'm not going to say that's why Filipe is in there. I'm just going to say it speaks for itself. Both Owen and Gabriel made the last 2 finals, with Gabriel Medina winning this one and Owen Wright winning in 2019. Looking at 2019, you see Jordy again, and Seth Moniz, who put on a tube riding clinic, slipping into thick barrels until he met up with Gabriel Medina. As I mentioned, 0-1 in 2019, which makes me kind of miss him right now. But if you were paying attention, Gabriel Medina has been in all of the last 3 finals and won 2 of them. It's a shame we won't get to see him surf this year. With his 2 wins, he joins Andy Irons and Bobby Martinez, who also have 2 trophies, and if you count the Hobgoods as a single entity, they have 2 as well, with both CJ and Damien winning at Teahupoo. Who's won the most Teahupoo titles? I'll give you one guess. Yep, Kelly. Kelly has 5 trophies from the end of the road. Kelly also had the first perfect heat in WSL history here, and one of the greatest heats ever against John John back in 2014. You'll notice he wins every 3 to 5 years. Is he due? Will the Waves give us another epic Kelly win like at Pipe, and we watch the legend retire? Well, anything is possible with Kelly, and Kelly makes all things possible, especially in Tahiti. The WSL has not had a women's event here since 2006, and back in the day, it's probably not a surprise that Keala Kennelly won 3 championships. By the way, I'm stoked to see the women charge chopes and watch them push their limits like they did at Pipe. Now, because we don't have any recent results, let's take it back to this year's Pipe event and check out the quarters. On the left side of the bracket is Tyler and Isabella, who eventually both went down to Moana Jones. On the right side of the bracket, we see most of the top 5 ladies there, except Tati, who also lost to Moana Jones in the round of 16. If you substitute Moana for Vahine, I think we could see a similar bracket structure depending on the heat draw. Who do you like on the women's side? Let me know your dark horse in the comments below. While we're at it, let's look at the men's Pipe results from earlier this season. It's really interesting, and the only one here that didn't make the cut is Luca Macinas. Everyone else will be surfing in Tahiti, and we will have some damn good surfers here that charge big bombs. Kaio, Seth, Kelly, and Miguel should not be underestimated if the waves get serious, and damn, I hope it gets serious. One last stat you didn't know you needed. 55% of all Teahupoo champions are goofy footers. 52% from the men's and a whopping 63% from the women's. Very interesting. Have I given you enough to think about? All right, let's make some picks. Here's a quote from my Discord text chat, and I think it's spot on. There are 2 categories of surfers heading into the next event. Those hoping the waves aren't that big, and those who are hoping for scary, jacking Southern Ocean. And that's from Keel Dude, and that's outstanding. So in making my picks, I'm going to pretend the waves are going to be huge and epic. I'm going to be bold, dream big, and create positive energy. Therefore, I'll take surfers that want the brunt of a Southern Hemi. Let's be honest, Teahupoo just isn't that exciting to watch unless it's big and dangerous, because we all know the potential. We want the Coliseum, and I'm going to pick the Gladiators. Oh, and I can always weasel out and reselect if the new forecast sucks. Starting with women's Tier A, and I think you're looking at the next world champion. We just don't know who it is yet. For Tahiti, though, I think Tati edges out Carissa if the waves get serious, while Carissa has an advantage in average conditions. Let's not count out Joanne either. A good argument can be made for any of these ladies. I'm going to take Tati. She charges, but she's not my power surfer. In women's Tier B, we have a regular-footed army here. For my first pick, I'll have to go with the Lady Viking / Aussie Charger, Isabella Nichols, and then it's a tough pick for me. Steph is criticized for her results in left-breaking waves, but I think her backhand is just fine, and her style makes up for her preference to go right. I'm going to say it, the problem for Steph is she's not as physically big and powerful as some of her competitors, and I think that causes her issues when the surf gets extra large. Brisa has cloud break experience, a quarters result at Pipe this year, and you can't argue with her numbers. Most recently, though, she had a rough time in the large walls at J-Bay, and Tati rolled her. I like that she shows up to each event ahead of everyone else to get in the water. Lakey had a good run at Pipe this year, although she was visibly horrified of the sets, I guess like a normal person would be. Her numbers aren't great, and she's just not my Gladiator pick, even though she has that cool helmet. Now for Tyler. Y'all are expecting me to pick her, but do you remember the last 2 times she competed at Pipe? Her only scoring waves were at backdoor, and there's no backdoor at Teahupoo. I know everyone else is picking her, but I'm not. Now, you know I'm a fan of Gabriella Bryan, who I expect to be Rookie of the Year, but I'm not going with her lack of experience in Tahiti. So who's it going to be? I'm going with Brisa. I sure wish Caroline was in Tier B because she would be my pick there, but I can't consider anyone else when Vahine Fiero is available for my fantasy team. You want to know why? Let's look at this beautiful Instagram clip for a moment. What a pretty wave, and she reads it perfectly. And waits for it, and then see how she rides a tube and makes subtle adjustments as she goes? She's a local and knows this wave. She also surfed pretty well in Huntington this past week, which shows her competitive savvy. That's what has me picking her as my power surfer. Moving on to men's Tier A, I'll take all the drama out of it and pick Jack Robinson straight away. I'll also take Idolo because he's a goofy foot and he's the only one here that's won pipe. Plus, they're both maniacs and love massive bombs. By the way, Jack will be my power surfer. If you want to know why I'm not picking Filipe specifically, you should watch the Filipe Toledo versus Seth Moniz heat from the Tahiti Pro 2019, link in the description. Look, these are the best surfers in the world on any given day, and any of them can win in the right conditions. Good luck to all of us. Moving on to Tier B, I'm going to get it out of the way and take John John and his bad knees, Kelly and his bad back, and Miguel Pupo and Baron Mamiya because they're badass. That's a collection of barrel monsters right there. I also like the Australians here a lot too, and the South Africans as well. I feel like I should at least mention that Kolohe is out, and it's probably just due to frustration. I mean, the guy can't get a break. Go ahead and check the link in the description from the recent US Open to see more. But know he's had 3 17ths and a 9th place finish since the cut. It's got to be killing him. Tier Z is where all the cool kids are, and if you're my son's age, you have no idea why Nathan Hedge is a possible selection. Well, hell, I have no idea why he's a selection, but it's probably based on an Outerknown sponsorship, which shows the power and influence sponsors have on pro surfing. I know some of you are loving the Hedgehog here, but can I just bring you down and say local Tahiti Ripper Matahi or Owen Wright or Jao Chianca would have been much better picks. Tell me who you would pick as a wild card in the comments below. Wrong answers only. And Port Macquarie's Mick Campbell has already been taken. As far as my picks go, look, I'm on Team Jaddy forever, but Seth Moniz and Yagadora for the win. And there they are, the best picks in the world. Well, for me anyway, for my Coliseum Gladiator event. What do you think? Who are your power surfers? Where did I get it right? And where did I get it wrong? As always, I will put my reselects in the description below. Man, this is sad doing this segment. Survival is over for me. I had a good run. I got all the way to J-Bay, but Callum Robson couldn't come through in the round of 16. I like the excitement and added dimension of survival. I'm a huge fan. I bought 2 tickets at $20 each, and the entertainment was worth it, especially considering the grand prize is $3,000 and a quiver of Panda surfboards. I'll have Taylor, the creator of Surfival League, on next season to talk about the league, and it will remind us all to jump in before the deadline. Once it closes, you can't get in. All right, moving on. Hey, if you got something out of this video, give it a like. It really helps the channel. It also helps if there's comments down there for some reason, this YouTube algorithm thing. So if you got nothing to say, put an emoji down there or something like that. Also, I'm on the edge of getting 1,000 subscribers. That would be pretty cool for my first year on YouTube. And if you feel like subscribing, it's free, doesn't cost you anything, that would be great. But let me back up and say thank you to all of you who are subscribed. I really appreciate you. All right, that's the end of the show. Thanks for watching, and good luck with your fantasy team.